Any thoughts on Jonathan Majors being found guilty and being dropped from Disney? Listen, I'll be honest with you guys. I saw the verdict come down, and I'm taken aback. I don't get it. I feel like if we're talking about being guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt, I don't know. I'm struggling to understand how there wasn't enough of a reasonable doubt between all the footage that came out, specifically of the incident. I can't speak to what has happened and the weird stuff that's happened in that relationship before, but I don't understand it. I didn't follow the trial super closely, if I'm honest with you, but I don't get it. I don't understand how that happened, how he was found guilty of something. There's evidence of him running from her, of him trying to de-escalate, him trying to get away from the situation, and then her going out after the fact and partying. They're saying he was found guilty of unintentionally causing harm, apparently. Well, if you're unintentionally causing harm, and you know what? Maybe that's why the charges were so reduced, because I did see that, right? Like if we go, I see they dropped the charges drastically from what they were trying to charge him with to what they did charge him with. And then, of course, they dropped him from Disney. And this is why, I hate to be this guy, this is why, as men, we got to be careful who we're around, and we got to be making sure that we can practice stoicism, right? Because if this is what happened, I don't know what happened. I'm being honest. I don't know what happened. If what happened is he tried to de-escalate the situation, and in him pulling away or in him inadvertently causing harm gets him found guilty and dropped from Disney, that just means, man, you got to pick the women you're fooling with more carefully. But it's still, to me, it's still a grave injustice if he was found guilty after all the evidence and because he pulled away. But I read about the texts that were in the court, and I'm not surprised. Yeah, I mean, listen, the texts to me are brutal. I also understand that the texts are from a whole nother season. Found guilty. Okay, so it says that it is clear that the jury did not believe Gracie's story of what happened in the SUV because they found that Mr. Rogers did not intentionally cause any injuries to her. We are grateful for that. We are disappointed, however, that despite not believing Ms. Jabori, the injury nevertheless found that Ms. Jabori was somehow reckless while she was attacking him. He was reckless when she was attacking him. Mr. Majors is grateful to God, his family, his friends, and his fans of their love and support during these harrowing 8 months. Okay, so Mr. Majors was somehow reckless. That's crazy. Y'all got to help me with this one. I got way more questions today than answers, chat. I just want you to know. We're going to move on to the Pope thing, but help me out. How does that make sense? Manhattan District Attorney says, at the Manhattan District, we're committed to centering survivors, yada, yada, yada. Today, a jury determined that the pattern of abuse and coercion culminated with Mr. Majors assaulting and harassing his girlfriend. He assaulted and harassed her. We thank the jury for its service and survivor for bravely telling her story despite having to relive the trauma. Jonathan Majors was found guilty in his criminal court after a jury decided the actor's fate following 3 days of deliberation. The verdict came down Monday in NYC, and the actor was found guilty on one count of reckless assault in the 3rd degree. So it's reckless assault in the 3rd degree because apparently he was responsible for her actions. That sound right to you guys? Remember, he'd initially been slapped with 8 separate charges all pertaining to alleged assault and harassment, but before things kicked off, the DA's office agreed to drop 4 of them in an effort to consolidate the complaint. That sounds right. I mean, help me out here. Y'all got to help me out. Chat, does that sound right? I am so confused. So confused. I don't understand. I don't get it. Y'all got to help me out. How is that? How? Don't defend yourself violently? Did he defend himself violently? Was there evidence that he defended himself violently? I'm open. Like, show me something or some evidence that they looked at that proves that he defended himself violently. I didn't see that. If you saw that, okay, just help me understand. There's the thing, I'm not sure about the timeline of it all, but imagine knowing you've given someone a concussion and then telling them that they aren't protecting you. That was from the September text messages, right? That he said that she wasn't protecting him. Yeah, it sounds like both of them were dysfunctional. It sounds like both of them had issues. And it sounds like he definitely has some mental health issues. But I don't understand. It's just not a good look. Man, the culture took hold of it before the facts came out. Nonetheless, homeboy took a fat L getting with her. Lack of wisdom. Is that kind of what you got? Is that the sentiment? Like it was more of like, yo, you shouldn't have been fooling with this girl. Bad look on your part. Is that fair? Or am I missing details? By all means, educate me. Another man's career bites the dust, meaning with feminism and making good is about to leave him now. That's crazy that he was dropped so quickly too. I feel like the jury just wanted to punish him for those old texts. That's what it seems like. And I'm not saying that those old texts weren't wild and awful. I'm just saying, wasn't the crime in question the specific situation that happened on that specific night that she alleged that he assaulted her? Isn't that what happened? Again, I'm asking. I'm not speaking with certainty. Okay? Yeah, toxic relationships, period. Yeah, he blocked and ran. So if they're frustrated because of whatever happened and then he blocked and ran and she inadvertently got hurt because he retreated, I just think that that's kind of wild that he's found guilty. Now, again, maybe I'm missing something, but just from everything I've read, everything I've seen, sounds kind of goofy to me. Sounds kind of goofy. But feel free to push back. Feel free to push back. Maybe I'm wrong. I could very well be wrong, guys. I could very well be wrong. It's called codependency on drugs and alcohol. Oh, for sure, codependency. Oh, when you said September, do you mean September? I thought it was September 2022. September 2022, and then he got arrested like 6 months ago. So there's a 6-month window between the text messages and the alleged assault, right? From my timeline of events. Again, I may be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong. The man ran out of there like Joseph did running from the Potiphar's. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right, I got to show you guys something real cool, okay? All the challenges, despite all the loss, despite the trauma, despite the public issues, you're steadfast in professing it. But in your brokenness, you're professing Jesus. And that, to me, is extremely refreshing because some people think they got to get cleaned up to follow Jesus. When you're like, I'm
messed up. I just didn't understand death. I could not process death, but I knew I was sad. And I knew at a young age, I had to like try and process that he's never coming home again. It was also, I've never said that publicly. I even wrote a book, which was a bio, and never even mentioned that in there. Wow. I just didn't have the audacity to do it. And I'm also a man who has seen and been exposed to and experienced every level of.
We see, according to the Bible, that prayer is extremely important in terms of us being transformed from the inside out when we get aligned with God's will. For the Christians watching this channel, I want you guys to implement these spiritual disciplines in your day-to-day life. And the only way I've been able to do this consistently is through writing down my prayers in a prayer journal that does a few things. One, it allows me to reflect and come to God humbly and ask him to move on my behalf. And two, it allows me to document my prayers, which ultimately help me remember the very things that I was praying for and see the hand of God tangibly in my life when he answers them. So I would urge you, consider writing down your prayers. It could be in a blank notebook. It could even be on your phone. Or you could check out the one I personally designed and used from my own quiet time and spiritual discipline that I think will be a huge blessing. It's the exact structure and system that I've used for years to pray and be more consistent in my spiritual disciplines. You can pick yours up today by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.